spent outside all alone. And there's a bleeding heart right under your skin. And I saved my life till all the world it ends. And this is where it begins, and you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. You're just lonely. I was never alive, never gone, and my flesh, it wore down to the bone. And there's a great big world right under your feet, and I'm wasting all my lives for all the world to see. And some folks will disagree, but we're not alone. We're not alone. We're not alone. We're just lonely. I'm not alone. You're not alone. We're not alone. We're just lonely. All right. Okie dokie. Let's get along, dog. What's that expression? Get along, little doggy. I used to have dachshunds when I was a kid. They're the best little cuddle bugs. It's not even hot outside, but in the garage it's already reminds me of last summer when I moved here. It's like 20 degrees hotter in the garage than it is. And that's how it is in the winter too. It gets really, really cold out here. But right now it's like super warm. Hello, Rose. Oh, that's... excuse me, that's okay. You're always welcome, you know that. Even I don't show up to my lives most of the time. Yeah. Why would I when I get ratings like this? I mean, I've only been doing this for 30 years. And still, I always manage to get like 3 people per view. So, hey, if I can reach one person, that's one too many. So usually I'll just shut down for the night and go eat I was gonna say a pot cake. I don't even know what the fuck. Popcorn is what I was trying to say. So I was gonna say pot cake. What the hell's a pot cake? Like a pot brownie or something? What? Pot cake. I mean, I know that they're out there, but I certainly don't have it in my house. I think anything that isn't chemically riddled is of the devil. Anything natural that comes from the earth is absolutely evil in my book. Yeah, everybody knows that. I mean, that's just how it is. That's why there's that expression, chemical over. I forget what it is, but it's a good one, and I stand by it. I just have to remember what it is. I can't remember. But yeah, back in the '90s, the term YouTube meant a whole lot different. Before actual, yeah, nobody knows this, where they actually got the term YouTube from. But it was from a mixture of things and people. Maybe it was an Andy Warhol thing. He predicted that everybody would get their 15 minutes of fame, and boy, howdy did they. And then there's somebody like what's his name? Slimy Ted down the street from where I live. He just lives on the streets and he's kind of slimy. His name's Ted. That's he named himself, not me. I was gonna call him Smelling Good Ted because one day, the first time I ever met him, he had a bunch of cologne on. It was obvious that he stole it from somebody, and probably from me, because I asked him what it was called, and he said yours, and I'm like, what's that? And he's like, nothing, and he like ran away. So I think it was my cologne, but I was gonna call him Smells Good Ted, but he said slimy because the bottom of his feet were slimy, and he was leaving trails like some kind of slug in the sand and stuff like that, and people out with big salt shakers and stuff were after him, throwing rock salt at him, really trying to hurt him, which I absolutely joined in on, but I felt bad afterwards. That didn't stop him from stalking me for the next 17 years, did it? Weirdo. Weirdo. Is there... Speaking of weirdos... I was gonna say, like a black weirdo, like a black widow, but black weirdo sounds racially charged, and I'm glad I stopped myself from even bringing it up. Sometimes you just gotta say something, and you're like, oh no, that's you. That's not something I should rethink that one. But if I were black, that would be my superhero name. Just saying. All right. It's okay. I have a friend who has a black friend, so I can say that kind of stuff. It's absolutely okay. Boy. It's really hot, so I'm drinking liquid. It's strange, I know, but it's got to be done. I've been in a transitional mood lately, friend. In a shift. There's been a shift in my behavior, I've noticed, and it's due to the reformation. It's due to the fact that I found somebody who I had been looking for the past several months, since, well, I guess the past year, since I moved down to where I live now, an old friend of mine. And I found him recently, like 4 days ago. So I've been spending time with him and stuff, and it's kind of bringing up all these old feelers from inside my brain. I haven't quite been myself lately. Let's just say that. Which happens to the most of us, but still. Oh, my ride's here. So, and he was a friend of mine that I thought that I'd probably never see alive again either. So now he's back in my life, and I was expecting to like run into some kind of shell of a person, or like you know. I was expecting him to look at me and not even know who the fuck I was, basically, you know, that kind of shit. Because I thought he was just so far gone. But I see him and I just see like my old friend, you know. And I want to help him. But he also needs to help himself. Obviously, if that's what he wants to do. His change, I mean. He's gotta get better, that way I can help him better. Because once my opportunities or my little, what do you call it, like privileges kick in. Not that I have all that many, but you know, just in general stuff. Just I'm hoping that within the next few years I'll be able to start making a living off of art. To be honest, I'm hoping that's my goal. I keep telling myself that it's possible. In a world where so many oddities have careers in that field, I feel like I've put in my 10,000 hours, and I just need to make it happen and think about it happening and already happening. That way it's just happens when it happens. I think I said happens about 12 times. If anybody can just make sure. I want to make sure I said it 13, so I'm just going to say happens one more time. There you go. Perfect. Lucky dozen. That's what I call it. Well, hello, Matthew. Welcome to the club. Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the club. Welcome. Ooh, that was loud. I'm sorry. I was not expecting that boisterous voice to be that boisterous. Wait, how would I do that, Matt? This voice be coming out of this mouth. I never would have placed it in a million years, except for on the ground, where I left my soul back in 1873, at an old hitching post watering hole back in Louisiana, of all places. A place that I swore I'd never go back to, but golly gosh darn dang did I have to. If I wanted to reclaim my soul, that's what I had to do, and through the 9th level of the 7 gates of hell, I did. And I don't know how many times I died and came back, but it was less than 9 because I only got 9 lives. I only had 9 to begin with. Let's just... That's just... What do they say? The cookie crumbling? That's just the cookie crumbling. I've been gone a long time. But now I'm back. And I'm whiter than ever. The light, it burns me. Gotta finish this little area right here. Preferably while at least one person's watching. Oh, nah, dang it. Lost him. What I'm doing now is drawing spaghetti that's reaching up to the sky. And in the spaghetti there is sauce, and the sauce has eyeballs. Sometimes you have to go directly to the sauce to figure out what is what and what is down, what is up, what it all matters, what it all means, all that crap. You also have to relearn what it's like to be alone. And you have to be okay with it. Art isn't very... The act of making art isn't being lonely. It's the before and after, I think, for me, is the lonely part. Because when I try to quiet my brain, I can't. That's why I stay distracted, because I'm so freaking alone. But having some of that, what I mean too is having a friend again. It's just my brain is like recalibrating or something, because I was just saying this the other day, but before my friend got out of prison, which he did, I hadn't really spoken with an old friend or somebody in person in like over a year. So I've been pretty much alone for like an entire year. besides with my mom and my aunt, but it's just a little bit different because, like I've been saying too, you know, having like somebody that's like a peer or something, is kind of important. And I just tried to make friends down here, but I just couldn't, or I rub people the wrong way like I do everywhere. I try something new and I try to be confident, and people don't like that, but then I try to be polite and like respectful. People don't like that. And then you just try to be yourself, and people definitely don't like that. So then I definitely just want to be alone all the fucking time because I'm just over it. So having a friend like Matt around now, it's all I want to do is just hang out with somebody, even if it's just to like drive around and not say anything sometimes, because he knows me very well and we share a similar path. But I've known him since I was 17, and it's just I think he's a good person, and I'm happy that he's around. But he's also not in the same town I'm in, so if I want to see him, I gotta drive to where he is, but usually that's okay. It's not terribly far. Hello, Ninja. Which way does the west wind blow? Whilst worrying about the worry what's on the ledge. I'm waiting for an answer. It's okay. Thanks, Frank. When does the bovine go dancing with the equine, with the equator, lapsing in the moonlight? I'm waiting for your answer. 30 seconds. Just kidding. I wouldn't give away my nuclear test rocket code so quickly. Oh gosh, I'd make a terrible code keeper. I would give away everything really quick. They're like, we are going to hurt you. Okay, here's the codes. Here's the codes. The enemy, you know, they're like getting ready to torture you. They like pull out all these instruments and they're like, now we are going. Okay, no. What do you want to know? What do you want to know? Can't imagine like being tortured and having like your fingernails pulled out. Fudge. Like, oh my god. Or even things shoved under your fingernails. It's just like, oof. And people are so awful that they've actually done that. People so awful. Like Saeed from Lost. Pineapple. You were very close. It was actually a cucumber. I don't know why. Don't know when. But somehow, somewhere, the cucumber came back into fashion. Yeah, not many people know this. But it did. And that's why cats hate it so much. The cucumbers are a competition with them online. You know, the cats right now definitely got their thing going. They're fooling us all, making us all think that they're something that they're not, right? Cute little inquisitory demons of such. Yeah, nobody's even looking at the real threat, the looming threat, the cucumber threat. Nobody wants to remember 1983, but I do. And I did, and I won't do it again. It's a long story, it's about 12 inches. Oh. Which is a foot. Why do they even say 12? There shouldn't even be the capacity in the English language to say 12 inches, when all you have to do is say foot. Cut down on 3 or 4 years of your life just by switching over to that phrase instead of using the other one. Son of a gun. How are people ever going to learn if we don't teach them? You're the one that told me about that. Okay. No, but I will. I've been very, very weirdly preoccupied. I just saw the note that I made though, like yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's right. But then I got bogged down again. Life is just one big boggle. But I will, I promise. And I'll get my pet pineapple out when I do it. We'll make a day of it. I think that's probably why Gecko never came back to my channel. Or didn't want to. I had a friend named Gecko that used to come here a lot. And he's just gone. I worry for him sometimes because he's in Australia. And you know there's all sorts of stuff down there that I could have gone eaten. And I never would even know. Because nobody even going to know that we even know each other. But maybe he could have gotten eaten by some kind of kangaroo or something. Kangaroo crocodile. How do you say that word? A kangaroo crocodile? It's a kangaroo crocodile, kangaroo. I don't know. I don't even know how to talk anymore. Thank you very much. I don't even know how to talk anymore. Nor do I know how to watch things, apparently. My friend Andy sent me some clips or a link or whatever to Sally Jesse Raphael. and it was about this person named Toby, and Toby was like genderless, and I watched. It took me like 3 days, but I finally watched it, and it was really cool because Toby's just super chill and funny and like very very intelligent, and everybody back, it was like maybe the late 90s, or I'm sorry, the late 80s or early 90s or something, and Toby's like Toby's cracking up the audience and everything, and it's just funny how things were. And I remember that that's what life was like back then in the 80s and 90s. Like it was not like it was today. People did not care about certain things the way they do these days. Um, and the things that nowadays are super political weren't like that back then. Not, they just weren't. I grew up in a family of Republicans, and I didn't even know they were Republicans until I was like in my 20s. You know, until shit started getting all political, and over, you know, after 2000, or after 20 after 9/11, like things got there was a switch in this country. At first it was this very great sense of patriotism and camaraderie, you know, right after it happened, the when that shit happened. And I remember people came together in a big way, like in a way that I've never, well, we'll probably never ever see again. Probably since like Pearl Harbor or something. Even if it was whoever, whatever you thought about it, you know, it was a fucking tragedy, and whoever is to blame and yada yada. But like, it was a horrible tragedy, and we sort of came together as a country. That's when you started seeing the American flag every freaking where, and it just became like a, you know, after the masks during COVID, you know, I mean, it's just become synonymous with 9/11 at that point. But then there started becoming this freaking over politicized version of Americans too that started, I mean, it's so strange to me that I live in a country where it's like people, it cracks me up. I go around in conservative areas, and everybody has a fucking flag. And I'm like, I mean, y'all forget what country you're in or something? Is that so you guys are reminded in case you hit your head, like where you live or something? Like, or even people that get tattoos of the state that they live in and stuff. My brother has the California state on his arm, and I'm just like, how would you? Why do you? I don't give a fuck about California. Like, I don't give a shit about lines in the sand. I care about the people in this country, yeah. And I'm not like saying, you know, there shouldn't be like borders necessarily, but like, I feel once you start closing the walls around you, you start living in this bubble, and you don't understand what the world is like outside your own bubble, and that happens in macro and micro on in micro and micro levels, and that's a dangerous way to live, in my opinion. I have some of the best and coolest, smartest, most intelligent, wonderful people I've ever met were always from other countries. I was always I was always drawn to people from other cultures and other countries ever since I can remember. And I never and nobody I knew except for my I didn't even know like my family was sort of the only way I found out my family was sort of racist on my dad's side, my grandma and my grandpa, was not even like I don't even know how to how to keep going. But they're both gone now, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm not talking crap about them, but um, my first girlfriend was Latina. I don't even know how to say it. I'm bad too, but you know, 'cause my step family is all Mexican American, so I just say Mexican. But I know there's a proper way of saying shit now. And I could care less, um, but yeah, my first girlfriend, her name was Rosa, and her family hated me because I was white, um, and rightly so, and whitely so. Uh, but my dad and my freaking grandparents would say some of the most racist shit that you can imagine, and they knew that my sisters were half Mexican too, and they were still saying this kind of stuff, and it just made me really, really, really resent my family for even speaking like that about somebody, let alone somebody I cared about, you know. And that's how I feel about my neighbors too. That extends to the rest of you. When you let me down in a way that is just like a disappointing, like, oh man, oh shit, I thought that person was a little bit better than that. Because there's bigots that come to my channel all the fucking time and say some of the most horrible things you can imagine, and just because I have something like that on my finger now, and they always just creep in with these like little weird compliments, and then it goes into this other stage, and then by then I'm like, okay, I'm giving you a warning, and then they just keep going, and then they start accusing me of all sorts of stuff, telling me I'm like a Satanist or something like that. I'm like, yeah, what's it to you? And plus, it's like the last time that happened, which was a few weeks ago, I asked them, I'm like, have you even read the Satanic Bible? And they probably would say no. So how do they know anything about Satan if they haven't even read the Satanic Bible? Because he's barely mentioned in the actual Bible. What is this? Oh, a Republican? Well, a Republican is somebody from, I don't know, Greece, back in 2052 AD. And they used to sit in a big circle. And usually it was like one guy would have a piece of chalk and he would make a big, like a four square sort of thing. And they would get like some kind of rubber ball that the guy made down the street. And they would bounce the ball in between. They put one person in each square. And I think they called it two less than six square. And they really just had a good time about it, and that's how we came up with you know, capitalism. The west wind blew, and we listened, and here we are today. Hallelujah, amen. Ninja, you should know, of all people, about the west wind, the zephyr. Can you feel the zephyr? It's blowing through the trees. No, I don't like anything that divides people. I just don't. I don't get along with that kind of crap. I'm here for a short time, not a good. I'm long. Here for a long, good time. No shit. I'm here. I'm here for a little bit of time, and I gotta. It took me way too long to realize that I wasn't making good use of my time. So I thought, what do I do better than anything else besides talk shit and look badass? Seriously. I just swallowed a fucking bug. Um, I don't know. I like to draw. And so I started thinking, damn, I should just draw. And then some other little essay came out of nowhere and he's like, damn, you should. Or something like that. Some other racist shit or something. I don't even know. But it's the only thing I do that makes sense. And the only thing that I do besides, poop and pee, or maybe that makes sense, because that really does make sense if you think about it. You put something in, what goes up must come down, basically. We all know that. And that's why it's best to put everything to a song or to a melody. Isn't that right, Druv? Can I call you Druv? Arts hashtag? That's just too long. I gotta shorten it down a bit, so I'm just gonna. What's up, Druv? What up, Druv? What up, Druv? Hey, you said my name so many times. Alright. What's going on? The west wind killed my cat. The big three killed my baby. Some kind of little hoopla. Oh, that's right. Oh, shit. The west wind, it killed my cat. My cat was killed by the west wind. Her name was Zephyr. Go figure. She was a cat, and now she's just flat from the wind. I've never seen that before. Oh no, not before. The west wind killed my cat. Okay. That loud noise at the end wasn't supposed to happen. But it did, and I'm sorry. I deeply apologize. Well, Ninja, you would know. I mean, you're the one that taught me. Huh? Do you think my guitar skills are better than my drawing of testicle skills? I just saw that. I probably drew it... No, I definitely drew it this way. Which means I might have known what I was drawing at the time. But I don't even know what I'm thinking from 1 second to the next, so it probably isn't what I think it is. Plus, if I just draw little holes right there, it could be nostrils. It just could be a nose. You ever thought about how much testicles look like noses in the dark? I haven't either. Neither have I. But let's not think about it together. Okay. I like eyes. I like drawing eyes. Even if they're not too realistic. I just have this theory. Well, you know how when, there's this popular kind of drawing that's out nowadays. Oh, shit. It's kind of like, oh, here's the note I wrote down for Carolina Crown. And I was like, oh, that's right. I gotta look that up. But there's this thing that people do a lot these days, and it looks like this. Where they get like, you get like a head in life. You get a head in life, eh? And then, you draw the nose or whatever. And then the brow. Maybe it's hot that day. Just a little bead of sweat just coming down like that. And of course hair. You're gonna want to draw some hair. Watch out for the sweat. Just go for it. Okay, I'm really going for it here. Because I really want to prove my point. Okay. It's like an optical illusion, which is funny because it's when you draw too many eyes on a face, it gives it this like weird quality when you feel like you're tripping, even if it's a crude drawing like this. And here's the upper lip, of course. Everybody makes fun of the upper lip, but not me. I respect it. It's a lot of fun. Well, look who it is. What's up, girl? I'm trying to prove some kind of point right now, or just talk about something that I've seen. And I started noticing this, of course, after I started doing this with my eyes. I started drawing eyes, multiple eyes in my faces. Just, it's not like Picasso did it. But anyways, it's when they do this these days. You'll see this all over the place, and they draw like the other set of eyes, And it makes it to where you can't even like look at it right. Because it's just so. I knew you were gonna say that, G. I knew you were gonna say that. Because that's what I was thinking. But it's like you can't even like focus on the face, and it kind of just gives you a freaking headache by even looking at it because your eyes just try to make sense of it, but they can't make sense of it because they're not used to seeing that many eyes. So your natural way of looking at it just becomes kind of, I don't know. It's just there's other people that do this much better, but especially the more detailed ones, or even if you see like a Photoshop of somebody like with this sort of stuff, it really really messes with your brain because your eyes just don't understand it or something. I don't know what that's called, the clinical term or whatever, or if there is a clinical term. Optical illusion, some kind of brain schism. It's a trip. The upper lip stinks. No. the upper lip stinks. It's a trip. It's a trip. It's a dripping on my upper lip. It's dripping. Oh, I did it again. It's a dripping on the upper lip. It's a dripping. Looking like a spit out dipping, like a cowboy lost in a hay. Well, I'm dipping, like a cowboy said. Once upon a time I'm tripping with my head on my head. I'm going outside, gonna shoot me a deer and eat it with all my friends. Everybody wants something from me. I've got a gun with some bullets in it. I don't know what else is country except the one in front of me in the mirror telling me to run for my life because they're coming to take me away. Not today, I've got the devil on my side. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate that. There was one called The Devil's on My Side I wrote back in 1926, right before they killed me the third time. Oh, golly gosh darn dang. Honky dong dang. Let's a working, dipping by pound. And we're pissing in the griddle like a cowboy, huh? All right, everybody, calm down. Here, I like to poke fun, but I'm not no cow poke. I could be though for the right price if anybody has any work that needs done. I can do a lot. I can do a lot. I've got a good back and some very strong shoulders. Yeah, my arms are shot. My arms are shot. Oh, Gene, I did figure out a way to fix your toes. Not your toes, but do you remember when I was telling you about how my toes, they were like getting all calloused and stuff like that because I was walking so much around Portland? Um, and I think you said that something like that were happening with yours, like they were getting all gross and disgusting. I'm joking, but they were. I think your feet were sore or something like that. But I learned that I was cutting my toenails too short, and so now I leave my toenails like I let them grow out a little bit, and I don't have those problems with my toes anymore. Just so you know, and I don't even know if you remember that conversation, but I do. I remember a lot of our conversations. I miss you. I wish I could go back and be a better friend. Yeah, and it like literally, I was telling my mom about my feet, and because when I first got here too, I was still having that issue, but it was like dry down here. My feet were all messed up, and my skin was all dry, and my feet fell off about 3 times before they grew back permanently. It's a long story. It took about 3 weeks, but when they finally did, I was happy to see him again. Honky dong dang, that's when I started believing in God again. Right around that time. Yeah, God took away my slimy feet. How about that? And through the helping hands of my mother's wisdom. Bless the Lord, and praise the Lord, ripping up, helping me in my faith. A country, it is of thee. I'm sorry, folks. I'm always just writing songs. I'm a countrified humanoid over here, and that's what I do. I do that for fun. I do it for a living, and I do it for real. I'm the real deal. That used to be my nickname back in clown college in the countrified version of the Midwest Clown School Association, but nobody took me seriously there. Go figure. So I had to venture out on my own, and that's where I discovered country western music. Yeah, I was from Texas originally. I was shipped over to Australia for about 13 or so moments, and then all the way to Manchester, England for about 16 somethings or others. Then they shipped me back to nowhere. I think we've all heard this story before. How about them apples? As long as they're Honey Crisp, I don't give a damn. I'll eat them. hmm. The band. I know, yeah. I know, I forgot what I did. I remember I recorded all those lean interviews one night because I was dressed up like him and I had done a few things, but then I was like, what else can I do just while I'm in this costume? And so I just sat down and I just acted like, because I had written out, oh my God, I wrote out so much stuff for Lean. Because I really wanted to do like a documentary about this fucking guy, and film it outside in Portland while I was still there, but I just never had the courage to go outside and do it. I wish I would have, though, especially where we lived, because it was so crazy right there. It would have been the perfect backdrop. Like right on the main street, just having somebody like, just getting like B-roll of him acting like he's like walking down the street with a reporter, like how they interview people and stuff. But it's Lean and he's just like in his ski mask and everything with the happy face carved into his chest. But I always wanted to expand on the whole, like, because he's doing the freaking, it's like he's doing something for somebody, he's showing up to somebody's place to like play a show, and the people are like, he has his pants off, and people are like, there's children in the audience, and he's like, oh, there's children here, what? I don't think we're supposed to be here. there I had like all these ideas, this whole universe of characters and these situations for him to be in, but yeah. I was like writing like crazy even after I got here. All summer long I was doing YouTube videos and stuff and barely making art, like this kind of stuff anyways. But then I had to get a job. By August or something, I was like desperately looking for work because I was running out of money, my savings and stuff. But I bought a car and I needed to be able to make payments, so I got a job at a local pet shop, and it's cool. It obviously pays the bills and it's rad, but um, it's my little vacation of being an artist was over, and so like that definitely hindered my video process and my writing capabilities because customer service, man. I'm trying not to let it, but it'll suck your soul dry, especially if you're a creative empath of any kind. It's a very hard thing to do. But around here, there's not many jobs. I was discriminated against too. And it's funny coming from me, but it's true, man. I was a shoe in for this one position. The only reason why I think I didn't get the job was because I was wearing a skirt when I dropped off the application. Because I applied there like 2 or 3 times, even without my skirt on once. So it's been really crazy. But things have finally leveled off. I have a big ass art show in a few weeks here, and then a big ass art in the park thing at the end of May. And so I'm hoping those two things will help me sort of get my work out there a little bit further and into people's eyes, into people's hands. How would you say that? Chico has. I live in Paso, but I'm from Chico, but I live in Paso Robles. So, like the coolest thing about living down here, it's just a really beautiful part of the of California, but it's also um very close to the ocean. So I go to the ocean as much as I possibly can. I even work in Cambria at the pet store over there because they have 4 pet shops, and I work at 3 of them. So in Cambria, that's like across the street from the ocean. So before work, I just go and pray, and talk to God on the cliff right before I go to work. And it was cool during the winter because you go there and it's just storming like crazy and the water looks all fucking insane and beautiful. And you can just sit there and just have a conversation with the cosmos. And they fucking listen. It fucking listens. I tell you that much. I know that because I asked for certain things and those certain things happened. And not like it didn't take very long either. But it took me a while to realize that they had happened. But they did. And I'm grateful, very grateful for a lot of things right now. I think it's important to say that out loud every once in a while. And anything else is just going to take a little bit more time. And I'm excited to see what comes next. Even though I'm still a petrified little brat when it comes to most things, you know. I hope so, Gene. That's between me and Anubis, I guess, when the time comes. It's interesting too, I think. What I was hearing was that the Egyptians don't have a hell. You just don't exist anymore. You're just nothing. You're just gone. I thought that was really interesting. There's like an underworld and all that stuff, but that's not. I don't think that's hell, in the like per se, you know, in the Egyptian pantheon or universe, I guess. Pantheon. That'd be the gods. Egypt is so cool. Greece is cool too, man. I'm getting back into like all sorts of hermeticism and esoteric, and I'm listening to all these podcasts that I was listening to last year around this time. And my brain is, and my heart and everything is just so full. So it's been really nice. That, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Annie. Annie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, anarchy. Well, and I also, throughout this whole, even before I left Portland and all this stuff, um, I was already curious, because I've always sort of felt a connection when I look at art, from ancient artists, and I guess I'm kind of mainly talking about ancient art right now, because when I see ancient art like hieroglyphs and petroglyphs and things like that, or like scrolls and codexes and things from like the Mayans and whatnot, statues like Olmec statues or whatever, ancient stuff, it hits me different than say something from these times, or it means something different to me because it meant something far different to people. It wasn't just like somebody didn't just like put a statue of this in their garden for no reason. Everything had a purpose. There was an intent behind everything that they did back then. And art and words and music and rhythm and vibration and everything, frequency was like they understood. They understood how to move mountains with the power of their fucking minds, I think. That's how they could build these amazing structures the way that they did without ever telling us how they did it. Like no culture, I don't think, has ever explained how they built pyramids. And the biggest pyramids in the world are not in Egypt. They're in Mexico or South America. I think the biggest one is in Mexico, outside Mexico City. But they're all over the fuck. And I'm sure and there's a shit ton in China too. They just cover them up with trees. They hide them because they know what's up. But yeah. Anyways, resonate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of, I think so. Or at least the blood from it's like I was thinking about like why I draw and like why I draw certain things even too. And I was drawing certain things and then I would see like some like a hieroglyph or something like that and be like, what the fuck? That's exactly what I just drew, Um obviously, I'm gonna draw a bird. I mean, hieroglyphs are pretty vague, you know, like an eye or something like that. Oh my God, I'm an Egyptian. I'm a pharaoh. I drew an eyeball. But it's just more than that. It's like a memory. It is. It's like an instinct. And I think a lot of artists have it. A lot of us know about it and know that and hone it can kind of tap into it whenever they want. Others it takes a long time, if ever. Others just have no clue. Most people don't even draw. Yeah. It is. It is important. I think so, anyways. And so when I moved down here, I was like determined to figure out why it was, though, you know? And I knew some of the reasons for me, but I was always curious to meet other artists that were as prolific or as obsessed, almost to a fault, with creating. I'm not just talking about drawing either. I'm just talking about people that are prolific in whatever, like obsessed with something, passionate. Like what drives them, because it's different for everybody. And when I got down here, I met these people that were illustrators from the gallery that I'm going to have my show at next month. And they're like two older artists, wonderful people. Had me out at their house and we talked for like hours about art and stuff. And they're the ones that got me the show at the place and everything. They talked to the curator for me once they saw my stuff. Um, Super supportive, wonderful people. And I can just sit down and talk to them about art forever. And they understand. It's like when I say something, I don't have to do some sort of caveat with it, or I don't have to explain much. They just, when I say something about, the making art or my art being accepted or you know, criticized or whatever, they totally get it. They just, because they've been there, done all of that, and they're wonderful people. Um, and it's more so like not even having to understand why it happens anymore. It's just that it happens. It's just that's just how it is, and it's how it's always been. Ever since I found out that I liked to draw, that's how it's always been, and that's how it will always be. And I just need to learn how to accept it and just have some fun with it. Art's weird, dude. I broke my fake tooth, so now I don't have any sort of tooth. So now, and plus, like my boss and shit, he told me, he's like, yeah, you don't have to wear your tooth if you don't want to. He told me that like months ago when I first started, so I have no qualms about like not wearing my front or having a front tooth. It's just my trademark anyways at this point, you know? Guitar and a new front. Wait, oh, you bought a guitar and a new front tooth. I thought you were just talking about my guitar and a front. I'm sorry, Gene. You bought a guitar and a new front tooth. Okay, cool. I liked your teeth. I liked you just the way you are, but I know the feeling of wanting a new tooth, that's for sure. Oh, nice. Um, an acoustic electric or just a regular acoustic? On the Cosmo, yeah. It's not cheap. Oh, what? I guess I didn't know that. I'm sorry. That's cool. Well, I didn't get curb stomped, but I mean, I'm sure you remember my story, but that doesn't make it easy to hear or okay. Just of all the people that you're talking to, I'm probably the one that can relate the most. I don't think you can. I agree. I mean, they keep trying. I tried for a long time. At a point where I was like, why is this not working? How do I keep waking up? But something always woke me up. Good. Well, I'm glad you got that fixed then, huh? Sorry to hear that, though. That's terrifying. It is super hot out in this garage, though, and I've gotta go and drink some water. I'm just like famished. I need to get the garbage out too. I made you a moderator, just so you know. I miss you too. My friend just got out of prison, and I was telling him about you and like our living situation and stuff. Not living situation, but like just the house and stuff like that, and how crazy it was, and just living right there on the street. Oh my gosh. My buddy that I moved down here with, I don't know if I told you, but like we were just by the time we got down here, I never wanted to talk to him again. We were like really good friends, but like man, by the time I got back down here, I could not stand him, and up there he was driving me insane. We haven't talked since I moved down here. So, Matt, my friend who just got out of prison, is like the first person I've been able to actually drive around with and talk to in a whole year, in like since I left Portland. And he's like one of my best friends. Like I've known him since I was like 17. So okay, I think you're already moderating. But anywho, I'm going around the edges on this thing, so it's the whole drawing is gonna look like this on the edges. Which isn't an ideal thing to do because if you want to frame it, you have to put it on the outside of the frame. You can't put it behind like a matting board, but I don't care. It's just fun. So it's gonna be going around the edge all the way around like so. And then it's not gonna mean anything. I'm just gonna throw it in a pile of other drawings just like it. And nobody is ever gonna buy them or like me or love me like the devil does. That's why I love deviled eggs. Make me feel right at home. I think it's the sulfur, the sulfuric taste. Ugh. Wait, or is that just the salt I put on them? I don't know. Oh shit, I don't think it matters anyways. You like to hear a song about it? Here we go. Well, deviled eggs in my face, in my mouth, making me feel good. Deviled eggs straight from hell, I'm gonna go to school today. I'm not scared of my shadow anyway. I love deviled eggs. But they give me the shits. I'm just kidding. I should know. I just ate one an hour ago and I'm feeling the burn. Feel the burn. Oh yeah, but I was telling my friend about how it was cool being able to talk to you, Gene, because we were the same age, and it's I have other friends that are like the same age as I, but we don't talk anymore. We don't talk in real life, anyways. But it was cool to have somebody to like bounce things off of and like say things and jokes and stuff because you actually got them. So, because we're like 2 months apart, and my friend Matt is the same way. He was born a few months before me in 1807. You see, we're lost boys, all of us. We've been here before. All right. You all be nice now. I got mascara and eyeliner on, and it is driving me insane. But I cut my bangs today, and I think they look okay. I did a pretty good job. I'm allergic. What, to bullshit? There we go. I wasn't prepared to go in front of the camera. But, seeing as though I am, I just wanted to show you this little thing that I drew. It looks like that. I'll just put it over my face. That way it makes you feel better about yourself. Not you, Gene, just anybody that's watching. And then I'm gonna go watch or look this up. Carolina Crown from my friend, I think it was Ninja that brought that up. So I'm gonna go look into this. I hope it's some kind of crazy conspiracy because I like those sorts of things, and I need something to fall asleep to because drive-by shootings aren't doing it anymore, unfortunately. Okay. So you all be nice. You take care of yourselves. I love you. Gene, I love you. And all that stuff. I miss you. Take care now. I'm gonna go lay in bed and cry for a while. Just kidding. See? Bye.